My Phoenix Mercury starting five. Mariah Jefferson at the 1, Skylar Diggins-Smith at the 2, Diana Taurasi at the 3, Brianna Turner at the 4, and Brittany Griner at the 5. Now, my Phoenix Mercury bench: Shea Petty at the 1, Sophie Cunningham at the 2, Michaela Onuare at the 3, Megan Gustafson at the 4, and Kylie Shook at the 5. My Minnesota Lynx starting 5. Kayla McBride at the 1, Ariel Powers at the 2, Diamond Miller at the 3, Nafisa Collier at the 4, and Jessica Shepard at the 5. Now, my Minnesota Lynx bench: Lindsay Allen at the 1, Rachel Banham at the 2, Tiffany Mitchell at the 3, Bridget Carlton at the 4, and Damiris Dantas at the 5. Now, this Phoenix Mercury team is still headlined by the big three, but Brittany Griner has taken a little bit of a step forward right in that big three spotlight. So obviously they should have a relatively good starting unit. When I say relatively good, I mean, for me, they're number 3. So that starting unit, when that starting unit is playing, they can run with the best of anybody. The bench unit looking a little suspect. I got them at number 11, and again, this is out of 12. And again, for the fun fact, because I like my height, they're the 4th tallest team in the WNBA. So you're relying on height a little bit. You have some dynamic guards, okay? You have some production. This team really can go pretty far. I'm not even gonna hold you. They are a little bit older, just a little bit, but it's still relatively within the same realm as the WNBA average. So they can run with the young guns, or they can play half court with the old seasoned veterans, right? And then when I'm looking at a scoring perspective, this really, the offense and defense actually is where it gets a little tricky. Now, they're not really that good at either, which is weird. Now, granted, last season, these are based on last year. Now, I got to say, the Lynx lost a lot, okay? Sylvia Fowles, we know who you are. Leading rebounder in WNBA history. Come on now. Like, rival of Candace Parker. Like, there's so many things we can say. I'm going to just speed on past this. We respect you, though. Love you. Miss you. The Lynx are missing a lot. Now, from a starter perspective, when I look at my projections, I got to say this. The starters are actually on the lower end of the WNBA. Like, they're 10 out of 12. Now, their bench is where they actually get a little help, because they're 3 out of 12 for me. And fun fact, the Lynx, they are the 4th shortest team in the league. That's kind of tough. It's kind of weird, actually, when you think about it. Because again, we had Sylvia Fowles on the squad. It's crazy. It's not really much experience, but they got some experience, though. They got a lot of youth. This is tricky. This is a tricky team because, well, hey, they can score. They just can't block. Like, they just can't really defend well. And you need defense in the NBA. You need defense in the WNBA. You need defense if you're playing basketball, period, point blank. And when you can't defend too well, yeah, you might be able to beat some teams, especially when you have experience and you got a little youth as well to kind of rejuvenate some people. I don't know if that's going to be successful for this season. Last year's stats too, so that it's kind of skews it a little bit. The Mercury did not have BG. Diana Taurasi was out, and then Skylar Diggins-Smith had her issues, right? So now we're assuming that this trio will resume and take form to what we've seen in the past, or somewhere close to that, right? They can do anything close to that. Maybe we have something to look out for. Maybe these numbers change a little bit, because you got to think, right? The offense from this trio alone should produce tremendous, like tremendous production. And in the defense, you have Brittany Griner on your squad. You're going to be able to defend the hell out of any team. So I got to assume this will change a little bit. And that leads me to my X factor. It's the big three. If the big three can actually dominate the way they've been in the past, well, I mean, the Phoenix Mercury are a scary team, and you got to watch out for them. I understand Brittany Griner just came off a really weird situation, an unfortunate situation, and that might be an injustice on how I label that. It was stupid what happened, but with that time off, can she return back to that dominance? Hey, is it going to affect her mentally? Like we got to worry about those sorts of things. Also, Skylar Diggins-Smith, she had some issues with the Mercury last season, and then Diana Taurasi, while great, she is still old. The White Mamba, she been hooping, but Father Time is undefeated. So this big three, if they can dominate, the Mercury have a shot. And like every team, health, matters, but this one specifically matters because if one of the big three go down, it's going to be a long season for the Mercury. So a lot of things hinge on their X factors, actually, the Lynx X factors. And for me, it's these two players. Nafisa Collier, I know she was pregnant at one point in time, came back, trying to shake off the rust. You saw some flashes of her return back to form. Let's see if she can get back to that form. Because if she can, oh, they got a hooper on her now. All right, on their team now. She can get a bucket. She can defend. She's a very versatile player. But the other X factor is who they just drafted with the number 2 pick, Diamond Miller. Have you heard about her? Because she can get a bucket as well. And when I'm looking at her, she can play the 3 or the 4, especially if you want to go small ball. So these two players, it's can you return to form and then an evaluation period. If both of them check out well, the Lynx might do a little better than what I'm projecting. If not, and it's a little bit of a hiccup, all right, cool. We could see the Lynx again as a top 3 draft pick team. But hey, we got to find out. These Lynx, they could have some bite. Get it? Because they never. No? Okay, never mind. Mercury. So, you know, the Mercury, it hinges on 2 things: health and the big 3. Let's see what happens. And, shout out to BG. Glad you back home. Let's go Mercury, even though I'm a Sparks fan.
Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.